This isn't a particularly new device, but I was ordering some stuff from Banggood and I saw it listed, so I bought one, and it's the original light bulb. And this is a device that's a light with passive infrared detector on it that you clip over the rim of your toilet. And it means that when you walk into the room late at night, it will illuminate the bowl from inside with this LED on the end of the stem. And the instructions are relatively good English, although a bit odd. One button controlled set, single colour or colour rotate, and no more blinding midnight lights, stumbling in the dark, missing and making a mess, or falling into open toilets. I've never actually fallen into an open toilet. I don't even know if this would fit into the floor type squat toilets, so odd. Anyway, it takes 3 AAAs, and it's got the light sensor, quite a sensitive light sensor that ensures that it doesn't really light until it is really quite dark. It does have a warning in the box that says, remind, just light up in dark, which is just to remind people that it's not going to light up at all during the day. So I initially thought this didn't work because I was clicking the button, not really seeing much of a change. I thought it was going to step through different colours. But in reality what actually happens is that when it's running, it cycles through the colours. It just sort of goes through the sort of colour rainbow. And if you press the button, it stops wherever it is in that rainbow. So if you want it to be a purple toilet light, you let it cycle through to that, and then you press the button, it stops, and it will remember that colour. Or you can just click it again, it will just cycle on to the next colour you want, or it can just continually cycle if you want a psychedelic disco piss. So let's open this up and take a look inside. Now, I have to say that the idea of hanging this over the edge of a toilet, it's not going to be very hygienic, is it? MD in the maintenance industry knows that liquids do splash, and no matter how clean things look, it always gets pushed into the crevices, like catering equipment, toilet equipment, outdoor equipment. It all looks spick and span and clean, but when you take the cover off, it's not the same story. In this case, I reckon that there's a very good chance that the first time it either stops working or the batteries run flat and you open the cover is the point you're going to drop this in the nearest bin. But I could be wrong. So let's pop it open. It's got what appear to be 3 screws. This bit here is kind of just, I don't know if it's bendable. Yeah, it's bendable. I could see this having other uses, not just as a toilet light. It'd be quite interesting, just a little passive infrared activated light in a room. I suppose you could just point this up the way and use it as a little wash light, a sort of feature light. So, not a lot inside. It's got the button, it's got the passive infrared detector, it's got the little light sensor here. It looks as though it's got the industry standard BISS chip in the back. Let's take the circuit board off and see. BISS0001, if I remember rightly, which is a very common passive infrared detector chip. Could be wrong. 2 chips, one will be dealing with the colour changing. I'm guessing that's going to be that one's dealing with the colour changing. BISS0001 rather predictably. The other one, also rather predictably, has no number. There's a surprise. So I measured the current, I put this in the bench power supply and tested it, and in standby it was about 0.3 milliamps, and when it's actually activated and running, the current draw will depend entirely on how many LEDs are lit, because this is of course colour changing one. If it's just an individual LED, it'll be lower current. And the lowest current it went down to was 10 milliamps, and the highest current was 37 milliamps. So I will say the 0.3 of a milliamp is quite high quiescent current, but having said that, it is, you know, it's got a little processor on it and stuff like that that's going to be permanently active, waiting for the signal from the passive infrared detector. But so it's still going to have quite a long battery life. Which is probably just as well, because as I say, once you get to change the batteries, you probably won't really want to use it again. But yeah, it's an interesting little device, and as I say, if you put it together and you just pointed this up the way or something like that, you could use it just as a decorative sort of feature light in a room, just to splash a bit of light up a wall or something like that. It's got other uses. So it's late at night and you're stumbling through the dark, desperate for a pee, approach the bathroom where the toilet is, and suddenly there it is. So, you know, technically speaking, I guess, ultimately, it works. It does the job it's intended to do.